recorder.
We're good.
There we go.
Okay, there is usually like a acknowledgement, like I had to click OK.
It's recording. It's going.
It's recording. I think it's recording.
Okay, welcome everyone. Today is June 24th, 2025, or for those of you who speak Italian, it's 24 giugno. And
2025.
we have a special guest with us tonight. Her name is Irene Damiani, and
I hope.
she is an attorney based in Italy, and she's working with Joni Garrow on Joni's citizenship case. So I'm going to ask Joni to kind of say a few words of introduction as well.
Thank you. I would love to. First of all, thank you, Irene, for joining us. You're going to see people pop in throughout. There's people from all over the U.S. We have Nuccio Belfiore. He's in, well, you can all introduce yourself later, but there's people in Italy, some in Sicily, some on the mainland, people from all over. But the connection here is that a lot of us were either born or raised in Omaha, Nebraska, or we have relatives that live there and that were born and raised in Sicily, mainly Carlentini, or the surrounding areas, Lentini, Ferla. And believe it or not, Nick Cimino, and I think you'll see Eleonora Formica, she's in Carlentini, and her sister Federica, and Mary Kay Lynch. There's like a group that formed this a few years ago. Nick can tell you more of the history, but it's really grown, and the connections we have to Sicily is amazing, and we're all very proud to be Italian. Some people here, like Scott, have gotten dual citizenship. Some people are trying, like me. And I just wanted to say one thing why I chose Irene, and I want you guys to know I'm not getting a deal or anything by having her on. This was all because she truly cares about citizens and advocates. And that's why our family chose her, because she wasn't, to be honest, I didn't want a big firm. I wanted to honor someone in Sicily, which you met that requirement. And I kind of wanted to honor a woman-led business, which you met that requirement too. But being that you were in Sicily and you weren't, yes, it costs money to hire you, and that's okay. That's part of the deal. But you weren't like you're not trying to take advantage of us. That's how I felt. And I really believe that from my heart, that you are doing this because you know you're fighting for the rights of the constitutional rights. And she came today because, as a lot of you know, about 2 days before we were going to hire Irene, a law came down. And so out of 7 of us, I'm the only one that still went forward, which is sad. And then the final decree just happened about a couple of weeks ago. And today there's some big decision somewhere in the courts of Italy that I think came down. Maybe you can talk about that too. So she's wanted to talk about the new citizenship law, how that affects people going forward. And if you want to mention Irene, their firm and probably others are doing this, have a class action lawsuit that if you were on a waiting list, and she'll tell you more about that. But hopefully, like Sherry Krager comes on, because there's several people that are on waiting lists, and I was hoping they would all come on. But thank you, Irene. I appreciate you. And now I'll let you take over. And we do have some people that speak Italian on here if you do need to go back and forth.
Okay. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you for your spectacular introduction. Actually, I am really thankful to your kind words, and especially to this invitation together with Nick, that I want to thank you too. This is an interesting opportunity for me, like many like this, to reach as many people as possible who are truly, as you said, truly interested in Italian citizenship and want to reacquire their roots. This is an important, as just to mention the ministry, citizenship is an important thing. And I do believe it is because it is origins, it is culture, it is a big part of ourselves and our family, so cannot be treated or discussed in a superficial way. So thank you, Johnny and Nick, for this opportunity, and thank you to all for the next minutes you will listening to me. I would, as Johnny said, I would go directly to the point and speak about the main change that the Italian citizenship law, the new Italian citizenship law, brought to in our lives. I just jotted down some points in case you see me reading sometimes. The main changes of the new law are basically two. As you probably know, only parents and grandparents can transmit Italian citizenship, and parents, and most of all, grandparents and grandparents must have never acquired other citizenships. This is the second requirement is acquire more impactful on descendants and citizens living abroad, and therefore I would focus on these last requirements, which is indeed that the ancestor, parents or grandparents should have never lost their Italian citizenship until death. As you may know, in the previous rules, Italian citizenship was lost if somebody expressly had renounced to it, while nothing was expressly said about dual citizenship, which is a necessary consequence of living abroad in a foreign country, as the Italian Supreme Court, in fact, clarified in the past 50 years. My personal opinion on this new law and on this specific requirement, because we want to focus on this specific requirements of the unique citizenship, is that this provision cannot be other than provisional. I think it's just temporary. It cannot be otherwise. Why? Because the logical consequence of such a provision will be that in less than 1 century there will be no longer Italians in other places than Italy. This is obviously unrealistic, and I say this is the logical consequence because reasoning at the opposite way, these rules entails that all those who were born abroad and meet the requirements will be granted with Italian citizenship, but won't pass it to their children. Therefore, Italian citizenship will stop at the second generation and won't be passed to the other new generations. And second point, on the other hand, Italian citizens who left Italy for any reasons won't pass their own Italian citizenship to their children born abroad, if by any chance, as it happens most of the time, they acquire their citizenship of the citizenship of another country. And in fact, we are now globally experiencing, I think that this law is the consequence of period of an historical period that we are experiencing right now, and as it is the consequence of this historical period, it will bring also historical consequences. In fact, we are now globally experiencing a period in which all countries are adopting restrictive measures against immigration, unfortunately, which increased severe limitation on the individual right of free movement of people and goods. I think you noticed that. So with the combination of the two phenomena, non-transmission of citizenship by blood to their children and restriction of the right of free movement, we will return back to the past in the 19th century when nobody could move from their own countries because they fear, they were scared of losing their civil and political rights. This scenario, in my opinion, is not realistic. I'm optimistic on that, and it cannot be realistic, and it can be only temporary because of the actual international, because of strictly from a legal point of view, but not only. Because of the actual international laws that govern the entire world and the countries that do not permit restriction, such severe restriction to the free movement of people from one country to another. Second point, because the international treaties which grant human rights go to the opposite way of this kind of laws, and because the international conventions that grant indeed the movement of goods and people along multiple countries will impact severely on this law, and I don't think that the national law can prevail on the international system and legal framework. Indeed, since the very beginning, I'm also optimistic because indeed, since the very beginning, even in the parliament debate held when this measure was approved, everybody unanimously from one side and the other of the politics admitted one single thing, that this would have been a transitory measure. My dog is on the back, anyways. So everybody in the parliament said that this would have been a transitory measure, that this would be the beginning of a bigger reform. So I think that this measure, again, is not a definitive one. If it is a definitive one, but I don't think so, then it needs to be smoothed, and it will be smoothed. It will be certainly smoothed by the tribunals by the Italian tribunals. I don't think it will be changed or extended or amended from the constitutional court, because there are some points that are so evident, it's so clear that they are not logical, or anyways not in compliance with the legal framework, that a simple judge can disapply this kind of rules. But regarding this specific rule, that is prohibition of dual citizenship or maintenance of only one citizenship, then this specific requirement probably will need to pass by the constitutional court. And we are actually moving on this way, even though we are optimistic. Obviously, we cannot stay on the backs, on the backstage, on the back, and we already fight, and we actually fight since the very beginning. As I said, this rule of the dual citizenship cannot remain in force, and will be certainly changed. And I say that this because in the past we have seen this development of the jurisprudence on the concept of unique citizenship that has changed the old laws and will change also this new law. And this is why I want to, and this actually is the moment in which I want to speak about the law cases in Italy. Also about dual citizenship, that is a very important matter, and was already discussed for 50 years at least in the Supreme Court. And actually, it was. Let me start by saying that today many of these cases have been reviewed, if I can say it so, at the public hearing in the Constitutional Court that was held today on the question of the constitutional legitimacy of the previous law on citizenship, which, as you probably know, did not provide for any generational limit on the transmission of citizenship by iure sanguinis. For those who want to listen to the discussion that was held today, if you want, I can leave the link in the comments of the registration of the hearing. This is in Italian, so for Italians it will be simple to understand, but it can be easily translated by the AI tools. So I will send it right now. Just okay, I will send it at the second time. As I said, today many of these case laws were discussed and reviewed, remembered in court, at the Constitutional Court. And one of these is indeed the issue of dual citizenship. The issue of the dual citizenship has been discussed, analyzed, dissected multiple times in the last 50 years by the Supreme Court, called Court of Cassazione in Italy, because although I said that although I said that the previous law didn't mention anything about the unique citizenship, anyway, it was a provision issued on 1912, so it was affected by the nationalist influences of the period of the beginning of the century, and therefore it was the principle of the unique citizenship was preeminent in the law. The Supreme Court on this matter, in fact, discussed the issue and changed any interpretation, considering it a principle that is not actual anymore, and the Supreme Court said substituted the principle of unique citizenship with the principle of voluntary maintenance of the Italian citizenship and voluntary renounce to the Italian citizenship. This is an important step in our constitutional legal framework because substituting a law with an action of the man is something very important, and remark the importance of and the centrality of the human beings and their rights as a source of the law, and that must come from the people and cannot be imposed over the people. So the Supreme Court, since the 80s and actually since the 70s and recently in 2022, stated indeed and revindicated indeed that the principle of unique citizenship should be replaced by the principle of voluntarily dismissal, renounce of Italian citizenship. Only those who voluntarily renounce to and expressly and consciously renounce to Italian citizenship can be deemed as non-Italian citizenship, can be considered no longer Italian citizens. Those who lost Italian citizenship for reasons that are other from their willingness cannot be excluded only for this reason from the Italian people. Why? Because there is a specific principle in international law that is that citizenship. Sorry, just a second. Tesoro, stai bene? Forse è meglio che te la porti. Sorry for my dog that was sneezing. So I was saying there is a specific and particular principle in the international law that is that the sovereignty of the national of the government, the sovereignty of the government in deciding who loses and who does not lose the citizenship, and this cannot be decided by other countries. So if another country, like I don't know, let's say Arabic country in Turkey, for example, Turkish men who married Italian women, the Italian women who married the Turkish men lost their Italian citizenship because it was imposed by the law. But it's not only a Turkish law. It was almost all over the world in the first years of the 20th century. So if a person lose her citizenship, if people lose their citizenship not because of a law of their own country of origin, but because of the law of another country, this cannot be accepted in the international legal framework because of the sovereignty of the countries in deciding on their citizenship. In this case, we have a opposite principle according to which the international legal framework provides that the governments cannot private citizenship. Citizens cannot be private their citizen from their citizenship for reasons that are others than not being connected to the territory. Now, another important rule, and maybe I don't know how long I can speak, but just stop me when I am too long. Another important precedent. Now I will answer to the question. Another important ruling of the Supreme Court is what I was saying, ho perso il filo, come si dice. So I was saying that another important ruling of the Supreme Court is that a person cannot be deprived of their own citizenship by another country that is the country to which he or she belongs. And in any case, even though the Supreme Court or the tribunal or the legislator delay the change, the amendment or the amendment of this specific law, well, others will do something to avoid limitations. We will go back to the 19th century when there were bilateral, I don't know if you know, there were bilateral agreements between countries where each country recognized the citizenship of the other, of the immigrant of the other country, and the citizenship of the immigrant was granted in the immigration country. So the history teaches us that this issue of the citizenship is a circle. It cannot be narrowed without being expanded again, because the principle at the base of our lives is freedom of movement, freedom of exchanging information, exchanging knowledge. The global asset cannot prevent this movement, and it's becoming faster and faster. So I don't see this law as something that can be permanent in our legislation. I don't see how this law can in fact prevent people from moving from one country to another without keeping their origins, without keeping their citizenship, because citizenship is origin, is culture, is a way of being. It's not just I am in the territory of Italy, I'm paying tax, I'm Italian. I mean, this is not the point. And I think that we all agree on this. And I was saying that another important rule that was given by our Supreme Court is that, and this is why I think, and the majority of the lawyers, the Italian lawyers community, think that the Constitutional Court won't declare inconstitutional the old law that does not limit transmission by blood by generation. Another important rule is, and actually another important clarification made by the Supreme Court is that the blood absolutely is a link with Italy. It has been for centuries. It has been like this for centuries until today, because until 24 May 2025. So blood is a link. What is the matter? The matter is that international law says that citizenship cannot be recognized, cannot be given to people who have no link with a territory. And this is a negative limitation. It means that it's not said to say, don't give the citizenship too much. It is in the legislation, and is in the legal framework to say, don't deprivate people of their citizenship because of the link. So yes, I'm finishing. So another important ruling is that blood is a link, it's not a fictio juris, and therefore it is, and therefore the old law is completely aligned and comply with international legal framework. Okay, I think it's time to. I don't hear you.
Thank you so much for that history lesson too. It was amazing. There are a few questions in the chat, and I just want to say, don't feel, you're going to you don't have to give lengthy answers. And obviously you're not anyone's attorney but mine. So you can do general answers if you want to, but there's some good questions. I know a few people here that thought they might be able to now with the new law become a citizen. So I'll let you look at the questions. You can see them, right?
Okay. Yes, definitely. I will. I would love to answer to the question. I just wanted to share the link. I will share the link and for the hearing of today, it's ready to be pasted. And then we will answer to all questions. Actually, if you feel to ask question, please do it because I'm happy to reply if I can, if I know.
Okay. So the questions that are in the chat log.
Yes. Okay. Let's see the one. Let's see. Please enter your question for Irene. Okay. How long do you think it will be before we know if the changes will hold or be reversed? Okay, this is a good question. Obviously, nobody has the possibility to set a date, but I think this is going actually faster. The matters, many of the matters are already at stake in the tribunals of Italy. We did file lawsuits against these rules, and we already obtain hearings for next October 2025. So I think that tribunals are waiting, all tribunals, especially Rome and those who remitted the matter to the Constitutional Court, are waiting the pronouncement, the decision of the Constitutional Court that will be within the next 60 days, because the hearing was today, so it's gonna be not later than 60 days. So from September onwards, I think that the tribunal will start decide on the new rules, decide on the application of the new rules and the interpretation of the new rules. As I said, many of the rules of the new law can be disapplied directly from the judge, and this make the process faster. So we may also have a majority orientation of the jurisprudence in late May. So in 1 year, we can reach a majority, a multiple number of sentences that make a majority and therefore a predominant orientation of the jurisprudence, of the relevant jurisprudence. However, we all know that we have 2 steps in the lawsuits, in the proceeding at the judicial proceedings. So I believe that the Ministry of Interior will appeal these sentences of first instance, and therefore we will go to the Court of Appeal. So it will take at least another year, and then there will be the Supreme Court. Unless we go, so if we follow the ordinary path, first instance, second instance, and Court of Cassation, it might take at least 3 years to have a definitive orientation on these laws, these applications, amendments, extensive interpretation, etc. If we stop the ordinary path and we go directly to the court, to the constitutional court, obviously it takes less. So it could take 1 year, 1.5 years. And another chance is that meanwhile the legislator changes the law, because at the moment the parliament is discussing about a new Italian citizenship law. So as we said that this is a temporary measure, it might also be that in 1 year the parliament finally promulgate public a definitive law that is less restrictive and more in line with the human rights and with the constitutional rights of belonging to a country and to a population. So 3 years is the maximum length that we can wait for a definitive decision. In 1 year, we will have already a majority of a major jurisprudence that will make a law case.
All
I
right,
hope
let's go to
I
the next
replied.
one.
Okay, so let's go to the other question. If a man naturalized after the birth of his son, does his son lose his right to Italian citizenship? Okay, no. According to the new law, we are speaking about according to the new law or the previous law, because this is important. According to the new law, absolutely not, because due to the new legislation, this issue, the minor issue, is overstepped. The minor issue is replaced by the fact that the parents and the grandparents were Italians. No, actually, sorry. No, I'm sorry, I'm equivocating. No, because they have maintained their Italian citizenship until that. So yes, if the parent, naturalize, lose the Italian citizenship because, well, lose or anyway get a dual citizenship, therefore cannot pass the citizenship to the children. However, there are some exceptions. I don't know if you know that there is an exception according to which if an Italian citizen, the son or the children of an Italian citizen who is registered to the anagrafe, to the municipality registry within 1 year from the birth, acquire the Italian citizenship since the birth, okay, by birth. This is in the law. This is expressly said in the law. So this is the literal interpretation.
Okay, so just a clarification on that. So let's just presume that the son was born in the United States. You said something about having to register with the anagrafe, that birth. So if that birth was not registered with the anagrafe, then that son never became an Italian citizen. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. That was one point. And the second point is that given the transitory period that obviously impact on many children, the legislator gave a window within which who acquired the Italian citizenship according to the old rules. So let's say Irene applied to the consulate before March 2025 and acquired her Italian citizenship. No, okay, sorry, I'm going no, because here you have a man naturalized after the birth of his son. this is complicated because now the son cannot acquire the citizenship because the parent does not have a dual citizen, does not have a unique citizenship, so he or she has dual citizenship. So according to the old law, cannot pass the citizenship to the son. And the law provides for an exception for those who are still Italians. So who naturalized after the birth is not Italian anymore and therefore cannot pass the Italian citizenship to the children that was not registered because he lost the right to register the children, the child as an Italian because he is not Italian anymore. So according to the new law, if the parents naturalize, the children cannot that are not registered to the anagrafe already cannot be recognized Italian citizen. The issue is when they are registered, what will happen? I have no idea, and we will see in the future. So I don't know
Okay.
if I replied.
I want to make sure I'm clear on that point, Nick. The grandparent
Mhm.
has come to the United States. They are in the United States. They have a child. They are not yet a U.S. citizen. They're still an Italian citizen. That child, when he is 3, the grandfather, both of those grandparents are Italian.
Okay.
Only the grandfather
Okay.
gets his full citizenship and renounces the king. Okay?
Okay. So the grandmother kept the Italian citizenship.
Well, the grandmother acquires U.S. citizenship at that time through the husband, but she's
Right.
never renounced the king.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's like me. Mhm.
So,
I am.
so in that scenario, I thought under the old law, because the son was born before he renounced, that son could acquire citizenship. Therefore, the
Correct.
following children under that son could acquire through the grandfather.
Correct.
That was the easiest route.
Yes.
Now, if I understand this change means that scenario no longer works.
I am a lawyer, and for this reason, I say that there are means to obtain the recognition of the Italian citizenship by the ascendant that did not renounce. Why? Because in my opinion, those who naturalized by marriage, uh, let's speak about the United States, do not actually result in the naturalization records, and therefore, if I ask for a certificate of non-existence, the certificate of non-existence will state that she never renounced to Italian citizenship because she never naturalized. So, with this proof, I go to the court and I say, I'm Italian because my grandmother never naturalized, although my grandfather did. It is upon the ministry to intervene at the tribunal and saying, no, wait a moment, this is not the truth because the grandmother never renounced, but acquired another citizenship by marriage. So, first step, the ministry should appear in court and argue about the dual citizenship of the grandmother. And in the scenario in which there are thousands of appeals, we lawyers believe that it's quite difficult for the ministry to participate to the whole trials. So if I was your lawyer, I would say no. In my opinion, you can apply for Italian citizenship at the tribunal, not at the consulate, at the tribunal, because there is a double part, as you know. I would go to the tribunal and produce and submit the certificate of non-existence of your grandmother. And from my side, I completed and I satisfied my burden of proof. It is upon the ministry to say that she has not passed her citizenship because she naturalized by marriage. And in this scenario, I would argue that indeed, as the Supreme Court said, and as I mentioned, the principle of unique citizenship is completely against the international legal framework, the international public order, and also against the Italian Constitution, and that would be a fight between us and the ministry.
It was just a lot easier before just to go through the grandfather.
Yeah, it was much easier first, but I think it's just a matter of time. It will return like before. I don't think I don't see other ways.
Okay, I'm just gonna, Nick, I have a question kind of for you and probably Irene and anybody else who might know it. Based on what she's just said, I th I saw a potential open door, but I don't think this happened. When a child was born in the United States and the parents were still Italian citizenships or citizens, the child became a US citizen, but I don't believe the parents would have done anything to file back in Italy, would they?
They could, but they usually did not.
And the way I would find that was the same way I found the parents' birth records, go back to that town and commune and ask if there was a record of register of his birth.
Well, I mean, you could just look it up online to see if there is a birth registered for that individual
Oh,
in the
sure.
year of his birth.
It's too new. I don't think the records are there for that year. You
Uh,
mean an
well,
Antonati?
well, depending what the year of birth is. Can you give me a scenario?
1925, I believe. Was your dad 1925?
1925. So yeah, that would not be available for online inspection.
Okay.
So you would have
So,
to request at the Stato Civile whether or not there was a birth record recorded.
Okay. And I have that info because I have the births of the grandparents and their marriage record in Italy. So I just go back there. Okay.
so I think we have time for one more question from Scott.
Yes, for me.
Oh no,
Yeah, there's one in the
there's
chat
one
log
more for
here.
you from Scott.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Scott Regalia says, I am a dual citizen, and so is my minor daughter. We visit Italy every year. Will there be any chance that she can pass on that privilege of citizenship automatically to her children someday? Or is this opportunity no longer possible given the changes?
Hello, I don't hear.
You did not hear what I said?
No, unfortunately, I didn't hear. There was a problem, probably. Can you
Okay,
repeat?
so if can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay, so if you could scroll down to the bottom of the
Mhm.
chat log, Scott Regalia is the person
Yes,
who,
I found it.
yes.
Okay, so I'm a dual Italian citizen. Sorry for this. I am a dual Italian citizen, and so is my minor daughter. We visit Italy every year. Will there be any chance? Will there be any chance that she can pass on the the privilege citizenship automatically to her children someday, or is this opportunity no longer possible given the changes? So, no citizenship, and so is minor daughter. We visit Italy every year. Will there be any chances that she can pass on that privilege of citizenship automatically to her children someday? Unfortunately, accordingly to the new law, there is no chance because always because of the two requirements that I said at the beginning. That is that the parents should have maintained their only Italian citizenship for the whole life. So I understand your face, but let's not be pessimistic. This is a transitory law, and it's not possible. It's not feasible. It's not physical possible that this rule remain in our legal framework. So, in my opinion, in the future there will be a chance. Maybe things will change in the next 3 years. Yes, in the next 3 years they will change for sure, but also even earlier. The most important thing is not losing hopes and fighting against injustice and tries anyway. Because if you don't try to reobtain your roots, to reobtain your origins, if you don't fight for it, what does that mean for you then? In my opinion, fighting for own origins is important, and everything worth a try, in my opinion.
So I think to close, I know you said you have to travel. So Charles wants to say something, and then I would love to hear from Eleonora and Nuccio, because what I loved what you said, Irene, is that being an Italian citizen is not just living somewhere like where you were born, but it's the culture, it's the family, it's everything. And I think that's how we all feel. We all feel like we're all a family. Like Michael Popio just joined, and we found out we're cousins on the Garrow side, and he's in Melbourne, Australia. I met a cousin on the Zoom call. Like, it's so crazy. Hi, Michael. So let's just go with, like, it's just, we all feel that, like, being an Italian citizen, if I don't get my citizenship, I'm still very proud. I'm still going to say I'm Italian, right? I don't need the paper to say that, but it would be nice. So,
Okay, Charles, go ahead and ask your question, please.
That's a good
Charles
point,
wants to say
Johnny.
something.
Yeah. Ciao, Irene.
Ciao.
We have an attorney. We filed our case in December in the court of Palermo. There's 77 of us in our package, and the judge is Roberto Lanza. I don't know if you know him.
Roberto Lanza, of course.
Yes, my understanding, he's a very fair judge. One of the questions they asked in our hearing was, what is our connection to Italy, and do we speak Italian? Very good question. We do make a lot of trips. Our ancestors come from Corleone, so we make regular trips there, and we have a huge family. I just said, we just had our hearing in May. The judge needs to review our case because there's so many applicants. One of the things we're doing because of this change in minor children is we're adding the minor children into the package. We've already added one. The judge had no concerns about that, but we probably have about 10 more minor children, and hopefully he will consider them. But it's been a long process for us, but we feel very good about this judge. We feel that we will get recognized. Our next hearing is in February, where hopefully he will make a decision. But my question is really, is this a good judge we have?
Okay, this is a good question. Obviously, deontologically, I cannot speak about judges anyway.
Yeah.
Lanza is not the judge that will finally decide the case. Lanza
Okay.
is the judge who discuss the cases at the hearings, and then everything is passed to another judge. So I don't think about what Lanza thinks. Let's not focus on what Lanza thinks
Yeah.
and if Lanza is a good judge. I think that the Tribunal of Palermo is a good tribunal and has a good specialized section in immigration and citizenship. So I believe that if your attorney, as I am sure he did, filed all documents according to the previous law, because obviously the new law does not affect your
Right.
case, I have absolutely no doubts that all your 77 will be recognized
Yes. Yeah.
as Italian. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
confident about that because it's just a
We,
matter of documents, and the Tribunal of Palermo
yeah.
is a good tribunal, is a good section. So
Yeah.
it's not against recognition, it's not pro recognition
Yeah.
to everybody. They want the documents. If you do have the documents, if you have submitted the documents, they follow the law
Yeah.
cases and the Supreme Court jurisprudence. So I would be confident with that.
Yeah. We feel good. We feel very good. Nothing negative came out of the hearing. It's just a matter of now he's got a review. So, all right. Well, just wanted to know. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Actually, I think that as I said at the beginning, the judge are rescheduling because they want to see how the matter at the Constitutional Court ends. Because
Yes.
obviously, if they the quantity of appeals is obviously huge, so the judge want to understand, and given the fact that it is imminent, they want to understand if they have to decide this case, all these cases according to the previous law, or if this previous law will be amended or declared unconstitutional. So rescheduling is normal in this moment.
Yeah. Yeah. We just want to hurry up and get it over with.
All right. Well, thank you very
Yeah.
much, Irene. It's very much a pleasure having you with us today. Um, and I understand your time is limited tonight, so we don't want to keep you much longer if you need to go.
Yes, no, actually, thank you for this opportunity, and I'm sorry I couldn't reply to all questions, but if Nick allows me, I want to leave my email address in the chat. So if you just want to contact me and ask question or maybe setting a call, organizing a personal consultation, just contact me. This is our general email, but actually it's monitored by me the whole day. So it was a big pleasure, and it was very interesting knowing you, and I hope that all of you will get what you deserve, that is being recognizing your origins, and please don't stop fighting for your culture, for
Grazie.
your origins. Ok?
Grazie Irene, ti ringrazio in italiano da parte di tutto il gruppo perché io sono qui in Sicilia, però
Grazie a
dall'altra
voi.
parte sono la
Grazie.
responsabile, la fondatrice di questo gruppo insieme a Nick, e spero di poterci mettere ancora in contatto in futuro.
Veramente mi
Thank you,
piacerebbe
Johnny.
tantissimo.
Sì,
Posso,
io ho una bimba piccola, quindi adesso sono un po' meno presente, però
posso
diciamo
sapere
che
chi sta parlando perché qui non mi spunta.
Eleonora Formica, non ti
Ah, ok,
spunta il
Eleonora
nome?
Formica. No, perché
Ok,
vabbè, in questo momento non spunta il nome.
ok.
Però molto piacere. Ah, ecco, ok. Ora ti vedo. Ok,
Sì,
molto.
perché io aiuto tanti di loro, soprattutto nella parte delle traduzioni certificate. Johnny verrà qui ad ottobre, quindi siamo contente che ci sia qualcuno di siciliano che la stia seguendo. Abbiamo anche Nuccio che è collegato anche lui dall'Italia, dal nord, però è sicilianissimo, quindi siamo una bella squadra.
Siamo una grande comunità, è giusto appunto che rivendichiamo le nostre origini. È bello vedere che comunque come te e tanti altri lottiamo per i diritti di queste
We have
persone.
almost 20 million Italo-Americans in the United States.
Indeed,
and
indeed.
A lot of people are against this new law because this new law is cutting out a lot of people that now are not able to achieve this important recognition. Even if I know that the Italian government wanted to strike mostly the Brazilians and other countries who are taking advantage of our ways to obtain Italian citizenship to have benefits without caring about the Italian culture. They never travel to Italy, they don't invest. But I think that the Italo-American community should be recognized because we are talking about 80 millions of Italians abroad.
Yes.
20 millions are in the United States. So it's a different kind of community. They like to participate, they love the culture, they speak Italian. Mostly of them, they still speak Italian. They try to be close to the traditions, and they wanted the citizenship not for benefits, but for recognition that is part of their. It comes from the heart, let's say.
Yes.
So I really hope that you and all of your colleagues as attorneys, you're doing your best to help those people to get their citizenship, because when I was trying to get my American papers, what I learned is that if we have the right attorney and we have money, we can achieve everything. We can obtain whatever we want. And you are the ones who are able to read between the commas among the words, what is the tricky part that can be used to open the doors, let's say. So I'm sure that even if the situation according to the law will not change in the next 3 years, because we cannot control those things. Politics, they will change. Maybe they can change in a worst way. But I think that it exists an universal, let's say, law that gives, that puts everything at the right place, let's say.
Absolutely. I may say that I absolutely agree with you, and this global law exists, and is the international law. And as I said, this law is completely against the international law, so cannot have long life. And actually, I want to take advantage of these of your intervention to say that all those Americans who remain, as Johnny mentioned at the very beginning, we are fighting for all those who were in the queue and in the waiting list of the Italian consulate, especially Miami and New York, because other consulates did not provide any waiting list. All these people who were in the waiting list, waiting for an appointment to submit their applications after years of collecting documents and spending money. We are proposing and promoting and filing in late September or October a collective action. We call it class action for simplify, but it is a collective action. Yes, definitely. I actually invite you to see our website and to see our socials.
If you can write it down on the
Yes,
chat. You have been very informative so far, and I've understood even better a lot of little details of this law that I already read and studied. So thank you for adding all of those info. And I'm sorry that there isn't among the embassies the consulate that you have mentioned, Chicago, because the majority of our friends here, they have to refer to Chicago.
Well, let's
That is the
see
one in
because
the Midwest.
yeah, well, let's
So,
see because anyways, each case should be evaluated individually as I usually do because if anyways there is a massive action of people saying Chicago did not give appointment. We were waiting for appointment with there was no appointment at the Prenotomy website.
Yes.
There is a way to breach the wall and
make sure you have to
obtain.
say it to Sherry, because she's your cousin. She's exactly in this situation. She's stuck
Yeah, we
in this
find
situation that they don't answer. They don't
Yeah,
answer and they don't give her an appointment.
we've been
Great.
trying
So
for almost 2 years to get an appointment in Chicago, and we cannot get an appointment.
okay, so
Okay,
a
Sheila.
question for you. Did you get any picture or did you send any email to the consulate?
No, you can't. There's not an option. You have to go to the website, and either there's an opening or there isn't, and that's it.
Okay, okay. We filed lawsuits for Chicago, also for people coming from Chicago, because there are. It is actually notorious that there are no appointments, and there are a lot of forums like Reddit.com and other websites where they are commonly speaking about no appointments. So we are using these arguments to advocate your rights and obtaining the recognition of the rights of at least those who had all ready to be filed either in court or at the consulate and couldn't do it because, and this is another point of the law that will fall, that is that it provided for the past. This is absolutely unconstitutional. So I believe, as I said again, I don't believe this new law can stand in the legal framework for longer than few
I can only
months.
speak for ourselves. We don't really have a lot of proof, except that long prior to the date of May of this year, we had reached out and acquired paperwork from Italy.
That's
So,
enough. That's enough. That's enough, and obviously an important sign is the date of the documents, not the apostille, because apostille should have been 3 months before, etc. Only the date of the document. So the date of if the date of the document is of issuance of the document is before 27th of March 2025, and there are some other evidences that say that you were ready to submit the application, in that case, I don't see any reason why you should be get out from the right. This is what we fight for in our lawsuit. So if you want to contact me and just have a consultation or anyway, just speak, have a question. We reply to questions, simple question. We reply for free via email. So feel free to contact us. Okay, so thank
Grazie
you
mille,
so
Irene.
much. Grazie Federica. Allora risentiamoci assolutamente. Let's keep in touch and luck to everybody and thank you for this.
Grazie, arrivederci.
Bye bye.
Arrivederci. Thank
Ciao,
you.
ciao.
Bye. Bye.
Ciao.
Aspetta.
That's very interesting and also very useful. I think she's a very practical idea about the issue.
Johnny, you're in excellent hands. Good job.
Thank
Yeah, I
you.
think
I really
so.
like her. That's why I chose her. She wasn't flashy or showy.
She's very
you know,
practical, and listening to her, you could understand how tricky is Italian bureaucracy, even the way they explain it. Sometimes, even if we talk in Italian, when we talk with a lawyer, we go like, okay, I need a translator. I need somebody who tells me in simple word where the hell she or he is going. So it's a very interesting, but very, very informative. She's excellent. I think so. You are in very good hands.
thank you.
Okay, so last week I was going to talk about the book, uh, the Biographical Dictionary, and then subsequent to that date, or subsequent to that, we heard from Juicy Shaka, who said that she's going to invite the author to join us. So, um, but then the complicating factor is that it'll probably have to be until sometime in August before we can schedule him. Uh, I sent a message to our Facebook chat indicating that I won't be able to be the host on July 1st, July 8th, July 15th, and July 29th. So, except for that one date of July 22nd, um, I will not be able to host. Now, we've discussed this in the past. There's no reason, I mean, the meeting is, unless I cancel the meeting through Zoom, you guys could still meet, but then it sort of creates the problem of, well, if you want to share your screen or if you want to record or any of those kinds of functionalities, somebody has to be appointed as a host in order for that to work. And, I would actually have to be there to appoint somebody. So in the past, what we've done is when I've got conflicts, we've just canceled. Um, and unless I hear some major objections, that's what I'm going to do.
I think we can take a break. It's not a big deal. And your presence, obviously, we have Jim, we have Dean. They can help a lot with the genealogical research, but you are the moderator, the responsible. We are the founder of this Zoom. So I think that if you cannot be 100% at this point, we can postpone. It's a volunteering part of our life, and it's important that we can be there. I apologize if I missed a lot of meetings because of my daughter, but you are the pillar. So it's that's what I think
Okay,
personally.
so then what I will do is I will go out and cancel each of those 4 meetings that I listed. Um, so we should be able to meet on the 22nd, and then we'll start meeting again regularly in August.
Plus, we have our Facebook group that is pretty active. So if you have people around who are willing, because maybe they're traveling to Sicily and they discover about, so that's another important goal of our Zoom meetings. Let's say TJ TJ wrote me yesterday saying that his cousin is flying to Sicily on June next week, let's say. They are coming between June 22nd and June 29th. Can you help them to do this thing? Okay, but let's say we have somebody who needs to come to Sicily and they figure out that we exist just a couple of days before leaving and going to Sicily, and maybe they were able to join us, but we canceled the meetings, so they cannot join us. They can obviously be added on our group. They can write down, they can contact directly Nick one-to-one, so they can work on their family tree on time. Otherwise, we are here for the pleasure to meet and keep going with those information, because our meetings are very informative and it's a part of our family now. You are part of my family. I really missed you when I cannot attend the meetings. So no problem to take a break, Nick. It's a volunteer thing. We're here to have fun and to stay together mainly, and to help for sure.
Okay, I agree. All right, so we have, the time is 3:20 in the central time zone, and so that would make it 10:20 or
and my
what,
daughter,
20,
she's sleeping
22,
finally.
20 in Italy.
Yeah.
So we have some time left. Does anybody have um, well, I just see a question in the chat about how to access the Facebook group. So John, first of all, you have to be friends on Facebook with one of us, and then we can invite you to the group. It's a Facebook Messenger chat, but there's also Facebook, and I think I gave you some of these already, but there's the Facebook groups, and I can show you what those are. Okay, so and we go to Facebook, and so I can get it. Oh, here we go. So in Facebook, there's a search function, and it's indicated by this little magnifying glass. So if you search Carlentini, you'll get a list of everything associated with Carlentini that you can join. And so the one that I consider kind of my home group is this one right here, Genealogy Research Carlentini Omaha
Yes.
Association. And
Mhm.
but there are several others that you can join all of them that are associated with Carlentini and just monitor the traffic and decide which ones you like and which ones you don't. And if you want to, leave one of the groups, you're always welcome to do that. So here's an example of some of the posts. Teresa Garlo is the sister of Joni Garlo, and she just had this event this weekend. And then we had Kathy Lang. So we could use some comments there. Let's see what comments we have. So Kathy Lang says, I'm new. Uh, Silvana says, welcome, benvenuta. And Frederica. So we could use some help in responding to some of these. I don't always get to these on a timely basis, but we need to welcome Kathy and let her know about our next Zoom meeting will be on July 22nd. So
Mhm.
that's an example of what we're doing on Facebook.
Sì.
The other thing is that occasionally, I just post stuff on my profile, and
Nick, I'm sorry. Earlier, when you were referring to the author of the book and you were talking about the Juicy Shack, I got distracted. Are you still talking about the book Emigranti?
no, there's another
No.
book.
Oh, you mean the last book that Juicy wrote?
No,
No.
there is a biographical dictionary of Carlentini. Actually,
Oh,
I
of
put it in our
names.
Facebook chat, but it's been buried by so
Of
many other
family
chats.
names?
So now well, yeah, it has family names. I'll show you some of the pictures from it if I can get back
Or
to it.
maybe important personalities?
Yeah.
No, secondo me è quello di Bresci. Secondo me è il libro di Silvio Bresci, credo.
Ma non era Emigranti? Te l'ho chiesto se si
Mm,
riferiva al libro
no,
Emigranti, mi ha detto di no.
no, Migrante è di un altro. Migrante è quello come si chiama? Quello che ha l'ufficio al convento.
Okay, so here's the
Ah,
book, Eleanor.
sì, protagonisti. Ah, yeah, yeah. Sorry.
Ecco, vedi? Sì.
Sì, ok. Now I remember even the cover. Ok, mi
So
ricordo.
there's actually a biography of Silvio here.
Eccolo,
Sì,
And
sì.
sì, certo.
um, so, yeah, he was born in Carlentini in 1967. Um, He began a collaboration with the Gazzetta del Sud, or the Gazette of the South in English.
See,
He's written several other things, which is all in italics here. And he was a director responsible for Proloco Sicilia,
see.
and he published also Carlentini, Storia Arte Tradizione in 1995, The Night of Santa Lucia, Chronicle of an Earthquake, and this was done in 1995. So, list of some of his other publications. So,
I actually messaged him as well, and he responded, and I put his response in the chat. He said he has a new book coming out called Faces and Stories from the Periphery, Memories and Destinies from the Streets of Carlentini. And he did say he has some copies of the book. So if you do go to Carlentini, he said you could, but you have to contact him directly because there's no more in the bookstore, he said.
Okay.
But he has some, and you can still buy them from him directly. But anyway, so I'm hoping to do that, and I'll get as many as I can and bring them back to the States too.
Yesterday I was
it's
driving
close to
around.
500 pages, and here's, a page out of the index which shows some of the names, which I'm sure the family names are familiar, Troya and Turco, amongst others. And let's see, what else we got here?
Johnny, I like the last title you mentioned. Yesterday I was driving around on the streets in Carlentini, and because of the nice weather now, and during the sunset, the people are still sitting outside, as I used to remember when I was a child. So I was very surprised to see people gathering outside with their chairs in the middle of the street. Was just beautiful. I didn't take pictures because I didn't want to be rude with them. Everybody knows my car, so they know that it's me. But let's say it was nice. So maybe I wonder if this book that you mentioned refers to those stories of people sitting outside on the streets.
I can't wait to read it.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because when we were at Pipo Sortino's house for lunch, he was talking about that, how in the olden days, before air conditioning, people would actually sit outside, and that it was much more social and there was more play going on for the children, and he misses those days.
Yeah.
And also Nick, they also shared the TV set, because not all the family used to have the TV set. So they moved the TV set in front of the door, and then the others sitting around in the street, they could share the video, the festivals, the movies, the novels, display the TV shows, and it was an event for everybody. That's what I remember when I was young.
And the TV set was as large as the door, so nobody could get in or get out.
Yes.
So the TV set was settled, and then that's it. Everybody's out.
Yeah, that's right.
And the light inside, they must be turned off, otherwise
of course.
or bat could come si chiamano I pipistrelli?
Yeah, bats.
Bats could get inside. Oh my. You just I was with people a couple of days ago, and then he said he added something about it, because he always shares all the memories. And then he said, well, when I was a child, I used to play on the street in the evening at 10 p.m., 11 p.m. And I was like, what are you talking about? There are cars going around in the dark. Maybe they don't see the kids. They can, it's dangerous. He said, when I was a child, no cars in Carlentini at all. The problem were the cows. And I said, cows? Which cows are you talking? And they said, because our neighbor, he owned 4 cows, and every night they used to take them home. So they had to be careful about the cows more than the cars. And I found it very funny, because I've never seen cows going around on the streets in Carlentini.
Me neither. Me neither. Just a couple of donkeys.
Volevamo scantare delle macchine, no? Delle macchine. Ci sai che sta dicendo? Mi fa morire ogni volta.
Donkeys.
I've obviously lost control of the discussion of the dictionary of biography, so
Sorry,
I'll
I won't
just
interrupt.
give up on it. So yeah, we haven't heard any more from Juicy as to when he might join us. But hopefully, she said she would be his translator. Okay, so John, are you still with us? Oh, he must have left. Okay, so we're down to 12 participants. And Joni, I want to thank you for inviting Irene or Irene, depending on your
I
pronunciations.
should have said it. You're right. It's Irene.
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 Sì.
Thank you for having her on. I had no, it was one of those things I didn't really plan what she was going to say, but it was amazing. Like she gave about an hour of her time and explained everything. So thank you. I mean, like I said, I'm not getting any kickback from that. She did it out of her heart. I just asked her and she just loves that we love being Italian. Like
that's the best way to work, with the word of mouth. So indirectly, she made a great publicity of herself thanks to you.
If it is useful for some of us, it's okay, because sometimes they do advertise themselves, but just for nothing. And I think that the way she spoke, she's very professional and she knows what's going on. And also the idea that you have to be resilient in that stuff, because the more you speak, the more you claim, the better it is. Because if you want to change law, in some ways, it must be done like that. There is no other way.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised with, as irate as all of the Italian American organizations are at this point about the whole situation, that there hasn't been more attention paid to the public opinion amongst the Italian American community.
That's true.
Sì, vero. As never before.
Well, I hope to, I don't know if I'll get to meet her when I go in October. I would love to. She's in Palermo, is where she has her main office.
What about your trip?
I mean.
Okay. John, what about your trip beside Carlentini and Syracuse?
We just really are going to hang out, like seeing family, Ortigia, Syracuse, Carlentini, Perla, just right there.
Okay.
It's kind of, we're only going to be there a week. And my daughter Madison is coming with us. She's blind and she also has some physical issues. So we just don't want to, we're not real touristy people. We're there to visit family first.
Yeah.
And then go to the schools and then maybe see sites. Like that's really our priority. We don't really care about the sites, although everything we see is going to be amazing.
You won't get bored, I'm telling you.
No, we're not going to be bored.
Sherry came with no plans and she was busier than somebody having a plan, let's say.
Exactly.
So
exactly. And
you will just
I
love it to go with the
see
flow.
Eleonora and Elisa and your sister and my cousins. Like that's really our goal.
And Silvana, Rosetta, we are
Silvana,
a big crew. And you have to go to your cousin business to eat a typical panino made with his hands. I mean, you have a lot of connections here.
And all the Omaha Park, and go to the gelato place that has Omaha gelato. And
I love it because you know exactly what to do, where to go. I mean, I can't even follow Nick anymore. When he comes, he's busier than the mayor. He has a hundreds of people waiting for him, connected to him, busy, busy, busy. So I'm so happy for that. You're home.
And that's
You
what I
feel
was going
like
to tell you,
home.
Nick, is Irene said that, you know, she often needs genealogy help. So she might reach out to you to hire you to, or
She
whoever
actually
to help.
has already done that, and
Okay, great. So
but
there you go.
I am kind of deferring to Nick Gibalisco.
Okay.
Uh, at least I've asked him for his take on it because
Okay.
I've never done any of the what is it where you apostille? I've never done that, and
Okay.
like she wants me to get certificates for parents and grandparents in Ohio, and I mean it's not hard to get certificates, but um, I don't know if I really want to get in that business, I guess.
Like that part of it. Yeah. Yeah. The
Yeah.
genealogy
I was
part.
wondering the same. I have helped with the translations, but I don't want to do it anymore. It's too stressful, too many hours of work, and no, it's not my thing. While I like to help with the research of papers, so that's something that I like.
And I can help with
I mean, for
apostille.
me, the
I mean,
highlight of my week was creating the 150 Find a Grave memorials for
Oh my,
Lentini.
you have done even more than
wow.
but and anyway, we are a great crew here who can volunteer, who can be paid, who can make an extra income. We I mean, we are a great group, and this is very helpful for everyone, I think, because as soon as you need something, you go like, hey, I know somebody who can help us. So that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is,
Amazing.
I was looking at the pictures and I found that I had the Formicas and the Nardos on a grave in Lentini. And so I sent that to Eleonora. And I think, well, when she had sent me some information, I looked up Nellie Nardo, her grandmother, in the Lentini birth index from 1930 to 1940.
Mm-hmm.
That used to be online, but now they took offline. And
Mm.
but
She was
I was
born
so excited when
1934.
I was so excited when I looked at Nellie's profile because I had downloaded the image which had all the Nardos and even a few Napolis and Napolitanos at the top of the list.
I
And so I thought, well, I've got that. Maybe I should, enter all
And
that
you
information
immediately
as well. So
recognized
I did
her,
that.
knowing that she's my grandma.
Hmm.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
So yeah, if your name is Nardo, so there's a bunch of unrelated Nardos that are now in my database.
Yeah, that's that's just amazing.
Um, and then
Well,
I
you
got
gave
going on
me
that, and I thought, well, maybe I should just
I
start entering all of the 1940s marriage records for Lentini. And so yeah, I'm only on record number 7, but it's only been 2 days, so
that's
Pretty good.
good. We can help.
You'll you'll get a method going, and they just fly by.
yeah, it's starting to get quicker.
It is.
It's funny how you have to you can't just enter somebody unrelated to other people. So what I do is I take the bride from the previous one and I add a spouse for the next one, and then I go to his profile and I delete her as the spouse, and then add his actual spouse.
Yep. Yeah. There are tricks to this. I think Ben Bosco, who was on, it took me a little while. I had to go back like 3 or 4 generations, but I finally hooked him into the rest of the group on my tree. So he's in the database and he's attached to everybody. So that was.
Fred.
Hi, Fred.
Hi.
Ciao, Fred.
Ciao.
Beddo mio, finiu Schifioca.
Veniu escreveu,
E
cara.
Joe, como finiu?
Veniu escreveu.
Ok.
Ma mulher aspetta a bambina il 15 di luglio.
P davvero?
Ma lo sapevi?
Serio? B, auguri! No, io non sapevo
Yeah.
niente.
Ah,
Come
tu
si
sapevi?
chiama?
Si chiama Rosalia Lucia.
Bellissimo.
Oh, what a beautiful name.
You became a
All the,
grandfather? Did I catch
you
that?
really,
No, I'm a
come
father.
si dice in
Prima volta.
inglese?
La prima
Mettissi
volta.
d'accordo tutta Sicilia, Rosalia e Lucia, tutto pare. West and East.
Yeah.
La prossima
Bellissimo.
Agatha. Fred, la prossima Agatha.
Bravi, auguri.
The next one,
Così poi
the
quando
next one will
cresce
be
facciamo,
Agatha.
quando
Yeah.
cresci Fred, facciamo giocare con Elisa.
Che dici?
When she grows, when your
Yeah,
daughter grows, she can play with my daughter.
Sì, certo.
Fred, when was she born?
No, in July 15th.
Okay, July. That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Nice. Beautiful.
Maybe she'll come
Beautiful.
early on Robin's birthday. That's hers is the 13th.
Oh, there you
And
go.
that's why we are having to cancel all these July meetings is well, first it was a medical appointment, but the what is it, the 8th and the 15th, we will be traveling to Oregon for a special quilt event for Robin's 70th
Ah,
birthday.
Beautiful.
Bravo, bravo.
Bellissimo.
I will be traveling to England those days for 2 weeks, so I won't be here. And then to
Bello,
Sicily.
Nuccio, divertiti. Enjoy.
And this is
Hai
with the students.
picciotti? Hai i picciriddi?
Ah, picciolini proprio no, però diciottenni.
Picciotelli.
Sì, picciotti. And
They
then
drive you crazy.
in August, 3 weeks in Carlentini. So we'll meet some of you.
Bellissimo. I can't wait to see you all.
Yeah, so
All of
do
us
I.
are coming.
Va bene.
It's going to be a
Sì.
busy time with all those people there.
Yeah, it's summer, and I saw the advertisements for Santa Lucia Festival as well. So even in Omaha, they must be busy. The festa is coming. When August comes, we're all happy to know that they are celebrating in Omaha and then in Carlentini as well. So it's a beautiful month for us.
So since you brought that subject up, I want to thank Mary Kay for providing the leadership for the genealogy room this year at the Santa Lucia
Good
Festival.
job.
Sure.
And several people did point out that the genealogy room made it onto the schedule. So that's progress. Thank you, Mary Kay.
Thank you.
And but we're only doing Sunday this year.
Yeah, I couldn't get not many people were open on, I think Dean was the only one that could do Saturday. So we're going to do it really well on Sunday.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. This will be the first year we'll miss Santa Lucia in the last 3 years.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway.
Do you have me on your distribution list?
Yes. In fact, I need to send a follow-up email to everyone. I know Jim and then Mary Ann's going to be there. And then I'll give you guys some more details. I haven't heard much else from the committee. I was talking with Anna Dietrich, and then Sherry, but Sherry will not be there as well. So I'll work through the details and get back to you guys.
All right. Looking forward.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim.
I see all together Nuccio, Michael, Francis, and Fred. So I have Bustorsizio, Australia, New York, and California. Oh, close. So
Kavig,
beautiful.
com'è? Zovig,
Kai,
com'è?
sta dormendo.
You got South Dakota too.
She's here. She's sleeping.
Amanda.
Yeah, don't forget Sister Pat's in South Dakota.
Is that where you are? Sister Pat's in South Dakota. Nice.
So, Sister Pat, you've been busy. Tell us what's going on with all your activities.
Well, we have voted to take down our monastery in 2 phases. So we've all moved out of one side and we're living in the other, so we can tear part of it down. So that's that's a daily piece of interest. I was just in Massachusetts for a meeting and of liturgists and musicians, so that was kind of fun. Get to see, we meet every other year, so I got to meet people, friends. Yeah. I'm kind of stuck on my genealogy because none of the stuff that's online right now helps me. So I'm trying to put together something that I can in paper or a disc or something that I can give my
like Dean does. Mhm.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. I haven't quite figured out how that's going to look, but I'm working on it.
So I also forgetting. 2 days ago, I spoke to Sherry Van Eyck, the one that found some relatives in Lentini, Michele and all the company. And she apologized because she can't be here because she usually works at this time. And she said, please say hello for me and all my love to all the groups.
Che bella. She's in California too.
Yes.
Sherry, right?
Yeah. This Friday, I'm just organizing a meeting with Nino just to translate. And then, that Ashley has been so well. Ashley has a
I
bit of a
didn't know
problem.
that. Her niece, really?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
what are you talking
We
about?
must pray. Yeah, we must pray for her. She has undergone surgery, and we hope that everything goes well. Yeah, she's recovering. Yeah, please.
She's
pray
the
for
mama
her.
of Sienna. Sienna now she
Yes,
must be 2
yes.
years old, and
Yes, that's
the
right.
wife of
Aaron.
Aaron John.
Yeah,
Aaron
John.
Johnson.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Johnson. Aaron Johnson. Yeah.
So, if you get a chance to send a get well message to Steve Nebbia, I'm sure that would be appreciated as well. He's recently undergone some surgery.
Mamma mia.
I won't go into the
Okay.
specifics.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Nick, for telling me. I will write them.
But I was joking with Sheila and Steve earlier. He's got several incisions on his abdomen. I said, don't make him laugh.
Anyway, va bene. Io
Yeah,
vado a
Nick
dormire.
family.
We were joking it up pretty good, so he must have been laughing.
I have a little question for Marianne Sofaio. If ciao Marianne, come stai? How are you?
Very good. How are you with the baby?
Good. She's sleeping now.
Oh, she looks so sweet.
See, she's
How old
very
is she
quiet.
now? How old is she?
2 months. 2 months.
2 months.
See,
And doing well.
Wondering. Thank you, dear. I was wondering, are you organizing still tours of Omaha during Santa Lucia, maybe, or I haven't talked with Sherry for a while.
No, that
maybe a
didn't
couple of days.
materialize very well. Right. That didn't do
I
very
see.
well. And even the
It's okay.
Historical Society, we're having trouble with that. So, Sherry, we're doing walking tours quite frequently. That's with a walking group from Council Bluffs. And it's a walking tour of Little Italy. And those have been going very well.
That's good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. We'll keep you posted.
Thank you.
Buonanotte.
Va bene. Buonanotte a tutti,
Ciao
sì.
Dana, buonanotte.
Ciao Donna.
Ciao,
Insomma,
Donna.
buonanotte Nuccio, alla prossima.
Ciao, ciao, ciao. Ciao a tutti.
Va
There's some
bene.
nice things that got posted in the chat log that I've neglected
Yeah,
to
Joni
mention.
shared the
Thank you,
Santa Lucia
Joni. You shared
program.
quite a bit of good stuff there. Okay.
Ciao Marianne.
So, Michael, you haven't said anything tonight. What's going on?
Sorry, I just got myself off mute. No, I'm just listening intently to Irene, and I'm just reflecting back on my own scenario. I'm probably a bit different to most of you people in America, like I'm first generation Australian. So my parents migrated here, and I was born of my parents who are still Italian citizens. Plus, also my wife is Italian born as well. So I don't know how that all goes with me trying to obtain dual citizenship. All I know is from listening to a lot of other friends of mine that have tried to obtain that, it's quite a long and lengthy process. And God forbid if you got a document that was wrong, you pay all your money and pretty much you just don't get it. So it's I admire Joni for persevering with the lawyer in there, and hopefully good luck, Joni, with your advances with getting that, and also to everybody else in the US. Hopefully you do achieve what you can achieve. But it is, from what I've read and from what I've been told, quite a lengthy and frustrating process, particularly dealing with the Italian consulate here in Melbourne. It can be quite time-consuming. I've heard stories that can take up to 2 years to get something, to get a decision reached. So, yeah, it's sometimes that's what's takes away the interest sometimes of applying for something like this. But yeah, like Anna says, perseverance is the way to go, and hopefully the laws are on your side and you can achieve what you want to achieve. So, so good luck everybody with your attempts in getting that. From my point of view here in Melbourne, like I said, we're in the middle of winter here, pretty much hibernating today, working from home today. But in terms of the genealogy, not much happening on that front really. Just finding some very old Latin records of my grandmother. She was born in another town in Sicily. Thankfully, there are records there which I can find through Family Search. But yeah, challenging reading them because they're all in Latin, but nevertheless, still quite enjoyable trying to find them and trying to interpret them. But apart from that, it's all pretty quiet down here, and just life goes on during winter. But I'm seeing everybody's enjoying their time in summer. Joni, you need to have more than 1 week in Sicily because what your itinerary seems to be quite busy. I think you need to spend a whole month there. So see if you can try and get it out another 3 weeks.
Oh, I plan on going back where it's maybe just myself even, but with that, because my children are coming, they had limitations, so I want to. And we also are talking about going to Australia for the next eclipse. We like to chase total eclipses, and near you in 2027, 2028, there is a really good total solar eclipse.
Okay,
So
I'm not aware of that. I'll have to look.
My husband has been chasing eclipses all over the country, all over the world for the last 20 years. And
Interesting.
there's one in near you in 2027, I think. So we may be coming to visit.
Look me up.
I will.
Good idea.
But yeah. And I
The
think
problem is the problem is when you hear that little voice saying, "Oh, I like this place. I want to live here," and that's when you're.
Hey, you never know.
Messed
Our kids
up.
are grown. But Michael, I think all you have to do after listening to Irene is you have to get registered in the commune in Sicily. Your parents are still alive, right? I think they need to register your birth there.
Well,
and I think that's all you have to do.
It's rather interesting, Joni, because I recall many years ago my mother saying to me that she was receiving voting papers with my name on them from Italy, suggesting that I was eligible to vote in the Italian election. Now, how that happened, I don't know. I'm wondering whether this is because she was receiving it because she was still an Italian citizen but I wasn't, and because of by way of birth, I was going now that stopped obviously because now my parents are Italian citizens, and unlike I think what happened in America, if say my father became an Australian citizen, my mother remained an Italian citizen regardless of the fact that she was married to an Australian citizen, so she still kept her Italian citizenship. Whereas my understanding is in America is that if the father, if the male became a US citizen, then by virtue of that, the wife became a US citizen, even though she never renounced her Italian citizenship. So it's a bit different here, I think. Maybe that was because it was back in the 20s or 30s in America, but the laws here in Australia are somewhat different.
Right.
So to that regard. But yeah, look, I may have a great chance of getting Italian citizenship by way of one through my parents because they arrived here and I was born of Italian citizens, and also my wife was born in Italy as well. So that could mean that I could have a more clearer path. But once again, from what I'm hearing, it can be still quite challenging. So yeah, I'll give it a
Might
go
be
one day.
registered. When I go, I can look you up. Maybe you're registered and you don't
Well,
know
maybe,
it.
who knows? Who knows? Yeah. It won't be in Fadla, though. It'll be in another town in Sicily, in the town of Adone, which is where my mother and my father grew up. Yeah. So
How do you, Adonna?
Adone, Aidone.
Aidone.
Oh,
It's
okay.
very close to Enna in the center of
Exactly. Yeah.
Sicily.
Yeah.
I was wondering if those of you with Italian citizenship being resident abroad, I really hope that you are subscribed into the AIRE. Have you ever heard about it? That is the Anagrafe Italiani Residenti all'Estero. Is an important office that you must be part of the AIRE, AIRE. Otherwise, at one point, Italian government can ask you taxes. Because if you are an Italian citizen living in Italy, you pay taxes here. But if you go abroad and you don't communicate it to the Italian government being part of this office, being part of this register, they will ask you taxes and you might lose a lot of rights if you're not a part of it. So, and if you're part of this register, you're allowed to vote when you're abroad and you have a lot of recognitions.
Yeah, it might
Are
be.
you
That's
familiar
all
with
Michael
that?
has to do.
I want to say hello to Vic Moberg, since our time is somewhat limited. And how are things going
Yeah,
in
go
San
ahead.
Diego, Vic?
I just got back from Little Italy.
Is there a Little in San Diego?
Oh, yes.
Oh, maybe it's the big Italy.
Perhaps Nick can send you an email with a little report that I did on it.
Okay.
I sent it to
Lovely.
our mailing list several months ago. You were on that list.
I didn't know
I
that there
could
was a
send it
huge
again if you
Italian
want.
community in San Diego.
Yeah, he wrote a very interesting article about the Italian community.
Okay. Nice. So there is a market, restaurants, everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
So okay, so we're at the time when we need to say goodbye. So arrivederci,
Arrivederci.
buonanotte, ciao
Buonanotte a
tutti.
tutti. Ciao.
Ciao a
Thank you,
tutti.
everyone.
Time.
Buongiorno a tutti.
Alla prossima. Buongiorno per te, Michael, è vero. Buon caffè. Ciao.
Grazie,
Ciao,
già l'ho
ciao.
avuto, già l'ho avuto.
Ciao.
Ciao. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right. Thanks, Michael.
Ciao.